Founder of Scale HR. Want to welcome you all to this masterclass, Recruiting Jedi, Mastering the Force of AI in Recruiting. So I was going to dress up as, like Luke Skywalker or, something like that. But my wife said not to, so I chose not to. I didn't want to scare everyone. So, but I want to thank you all for being here. And so this is a really, really crucial top of mind topic. And I'm really, really thankful and grateful that I'm joined by two, wonderful people. Before I get to them, just want to say that this masterclass is brought to you in partnership with Team Taylor, Scale Tribe, which is my company, and Tribe, which is a wellness a sales organization, and I'll let Hillary talk about them soon. But some of you may know that I feel very, very highly of Team Taylor. They're a fantastic hiring platform. Just recently rolled out AI capabilities that, quite frankly, is actually pretty awesome. And you'll get a bit of a sneak peek of that today as part of this masterclass. So I just want to welcome everyone here. And just want to, introduce our speakers. I'm Hillary Wagner, who's the Chief People Officer at Tribe Wellness Sales, based in the Windy City, Chicago. Don't like the Blackhawks, but that's for another day. And Janelle Gates, who is in partnership with Team Taylor, and she's based in Austin, Texas. And then I'm Jeff Waldman, founder of Scale HR, based in Toronto, Canada. We had snow last night, which was very, depressing. But anyway, so the three of us are going to tag team, on this masterclass. And so I just want to welcome all of you here. Just, before we get started with the meat of it, just some housekeeping. So we are, recording this masterclass, so we will be sharing it with everybody. You are also using just a couple of AI-powered tool, Decipher and Fathom. Decipher is a really cool content creation platform that can actually analyze video and create content for you. And I've been using it for about 2 or 3 months now. And then Fathom is a note taker, basically a note taker app, but then it actually generates tasks and summaries, and it's really quite cool. And then you can use that for meeting, for events, and all of those types of things. So we are going to be using both. Now, the next one is chat and Q&A feature. The chat doesn't seem to be working. I have no clue why. We made sure that it was turned on. So unless you can use it, great. But there is a Q&A feature where you can ask questions. And so we will be having a Q&A session later on. And, I encourage you, as questions come up, just to use the Q&A functionality. The slides. We will provide you with these slides afterward. Okay, so don't worry about that. And then we're also going to be creating some content, using our AI tools post masterclass, and so we'll be sending everyone some really cool follow-up content that you can use in your work. And also, I think Janelle has done this already, if not soon. She's going to be adding everybody to the Team Taylor sandbox as part of this masterclass. So you should have received an email by now, and that will give you access to the Team Taylor sandbox, so you can try some of the AI tools that they have, and you'll have a chance during this masterclass to give it a try. And so that the email should be in your inbox based on what you use to actually register for this masterclass. Okay. And if you have any questions about that, you can always message me, if you can message me directly. The agenda. So we're going to spend just a short bit of time on the business case. And I think most of you already have a pretty good understanding of that, but we just want to go through it just to set the context, and I'm going to piggyback with Janelle on that one. The number 2 and 3 is where the meat really is, and so really talking about AI and your recruitment strategy. Also, Hillary has some amazing content there. We're going to have a little session where you can actually try some of the tools, so whether it be Chat, GPT, Gemini, Team Taylor, Copilot, and so on. And then I'm going to do a session on bias, fairness, ethics, and so forth. It's a really important area. It's complicated. It's complex. So I'm just going to skim over it. Not skim over it, but just sort of highlight some of the key things. And then in the post Masterclass content, we'll put more in there so you can have more to I'll go back to. And then we'll have a short Q&A, optional Q&A. So we'll stick around and then ask any question, and that will be it. So poll. Let's launch a poll.
Let's launch it.
Here, I can launch it. All right. Launch a poll. Here we go. It should show up on your screen. If AI took over the world, what would be its favorite pastime?
I stole, Hillary, your question for this, and then I had Chat GPT reword it and give me like the potential answers for them to use.
Definitely the cat videos.
Yep.
Yeah. So just to level set everyone, 100% of this masterclass was built by AI. We didn't do any work. None.
We just showed up.
We're actually AI. We're not real.
Yeah. All right. So messages are coming through. Vote. It's a pretty even split. So keep voting. If AI took over the world, what would be its favorite pastime? The options are hosting endless cat video marathons, engaging in philosophical debates with toasters, choreographing robot dance battle, deciphering the meaning of 404 error messages. So, yeah.
At a certain time in the morning, I will have philosophical debates with toasters. So usually before coffee.
Makes sense. I need a smarter toaster. It never responds back to me.
Yeah. So 12 vote. Not everybody voted, but that's okay. So it seems like a pretty even, but it seems like there's the robot dance battle wins. So that's great. Awesome. So let's end the poll. All right. Perfect. So let's move on to I'm going to turn it over to Janelle. And sorry, maybe, Janelle and Hillary, maybe just sort of, talk about yourselves and, to the audience. And yeah, go ahead.
Sounds great. I can go ahead and go first. Like Jeff mentioned, I am with Team Taylor. I'm a part of the partnerships team. So I get to do all the fun things at Team Taylor, which includes like doing these master classes and other events with industry professionals. Been with Team Taylor for a little over a year. Prior to that, I was in legal tech. So I found that HR tech is like a whole specific type of fun people, and I've really been loving it. I love AI. I use and abuse Chat GPT in my personal life, a little bit in my work life. Hope my boss isn't on. But I still feel like there's so much more I can do with it. Even going through this dry run, I learned so much from Hillary. So really excited for everyone to see what Hillary has been using. But Hillary, I'll go ahead and let it pass over to you.
Oh, sure. So hello, everyone. I am Hillary Wagner. I am Chief People and Talent Officer at Tribe Wellness Sales, which is headquartered in Austin, Texas. What our business does is we work with brands in health and wellness and help them sell their products. Basically, our team, we work with their team, doing performance coaching and really showing them how to sell well. And then we use our team as well if we have a brand that doesn't have a team and help them sell their products and make the world a little bit healthier, one customer at a time. I've been in talent acquisition way longer than I'm going to tell you. And I would say I have had a long career in tech recruiting and then got into health and wellness in the last 3 years, and I love it. And also just really global, broad recruiting, like on all the continents, and building TA functions from the ground up. That is pretty much my favorite thing, coming in from scratch, that startup scrappy environment where you just build it, they will come. And employer branding, that is just a wonderful part of my life. And with both building a TA function, employer branding, and recruiting in general, AI has been a complete game changer. It really, really has. And the more you learn how to manipulate it, the better it gets. So excited to talk to you guys.
Great, thank you very much. And so I'm Jeff, once again, founder of Scalar Charge. So we focus on skills development. So basically upscaling leaders, HR teams, and then we have a whole bunch of different, other offerings, including webinars, podcasts, master classes, workshops, and then events. And so that's our focus. And then, okay, so let's just get to the first session, which I'm going to take on right now. So it's basically the business case. And so, before I talk about some of the benefits and the challenges, I just want to make sure that we understand at a very basic level. So what, some of the different AI, I guess tools, or types out there. There are more than these 5, but these are the 5 that, but I think that most of us will actually encounter. During the course of our work. And so the first one is obviously ML, machine learning. And it's really, about, ML creating algorithms and models that enable computers to learn from data and then improve performance. And so it's constantly learning, and that's the key part of it. And so in our world, in the recruiting HR world, that would be something like, like resume analysis, candidate sourcing, job matching, video analysis, sentiment analysis, automation, and then some predictive stuff as well. And so that one type is ML, which many people have actually heard of. I think the second one is natural language processing, and that's really where you're allowing computers to actually understand, interpret, and then generate language, so human language. Okay, so I mean, if you talk cat talk or dog talk, that doesn't work for that. So it's only on human language, and so it would analyze text and speech. So like chatbot, for example, gauging sentiment in engagement scores, like analyzing interview responses, and so it's really trying to understand both text and speech, human language, and it processes that. The third one is called expert system. That's probably one that's not as well known, but basically it's a simulation of decision-making abilities of human experts. Okay, so and then it provides advice and then a solution. So things like policy interpretation, leadership coaching, candidate assessment. So for example, like leadership coaching, it could actually simulate a coach, basically, so if that makes sense. And then so that's a really interesting one too. And the fourth one is analytics, so predictive analytics, which is really the use of data algorithms and ML, the machine learning, to predict future outcomes. Okay, so it's based on data that's already history, so it's based on past data. So and it just analyzes past data to make inferences about the future. So things like employee turnover, recruitment forecasting, succession planning, performance, and so on. And so this is one that generated a lot of interest, and especially with data geeks and actually Scalar HR. We're actually going to be launching a like HR analytics training program. So the last one, generative AI, which is probably the most well-known one, just because of the use of chat, GPT, Gemini, and like those types of platforms. But these platforms really sort of allow you to create new content. Okay, so images, text, audio, other media. It's like automated communication, chatbot, virtual assistant. It can help you write things. So if you want to write a new job posting, or it can help you, create training programs. But it basically allows you to provide actionable insights to surveys and feedback. So the generative part of it, so where you're actually talking to something like a bot and it talking back at you, so it's generating content as it goes. So just wanted to sort of level set that. And if you have any questions, you can always, add it in the Q&A session as well. Okay, so I know that a lot of people have had questions about what these are. We're not asking you to be experts in these, because us we aren't. It's just we're users of software, but it's important for you to have a basic understanding. So obviously, benefits, there are many, right? And I think all of us have this understanding, but it's really about scalability. And so how do we actually increase our efficiencies when it comes to hiring, throughout our entire workflow? This one's a bit of a two-sided one when it comes to bias. So it can actually help you, lower your bias, and then some may argue that it actually, boosts it up so that the platforms are actually biased. And so we're going to be talking about that later. But if the tools are actually built properly and they're used correctly and safely, then they can actually reduce bias. These tools can also improve our candidate experience. And so when you go to a career site and a chatbot pops up and you're able to talk to it versus having to deal with a with the black hole all the time with, like applications in the old world going into the stratosphere, the chatbot can function as a connection point between candidate and company hiring. And so that it's just one sort of use case. But the other one too is obviously analytics and data. The power of data is right there. And so a lot of the platforms and vendors like Team Taylor, for example, are providing this rich functionality that's helping people make better choices when it comes to hiring. So, and then that leads me into my fifth one, quality of hire. That's been a topic of conversation for, the last 25 years. And that is not changing. And so obviously having, the AI tool and the data capability will obviously help there. Cost savings, huge. Automation and saving time, right? So just think about it. If you're able to scale your operations where you actually drop, the amount of hours and minutes that people do, and it's now done by AI, that is a massive cost saving right there. But also you can also change your tech stack so that you are using more AI tools that are really cost effective. So there's lots of benefit, and I just I just want to mention the challenges. There are many because it's still very new, and so when you have something that is very new, you're going to have a lot of questions and concerns and worries. Bias, obviously, in the actual platforms, they're not perfect, right? So things are constantly changing, and I personally always come from a place of having full trust in the platform to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to put my trust in the tool that they built it properly, and knowing full well that there might be some errors, but that is still an issue, bias and being worried about that. So that's definitely there. Data privacy. If you're using a public platform like Gemini, and you're taking resumes that are private information, and you're attaching it to a public platform, where does that data live, right? So there, a lot of issues with making sure that you're keeping private data private, and then you're, using public platform in the proper way. But not only that, but also tools that are paid tools, making sure that the data is, secure. And I think that's always an issue too. Trying to explain like what these tools do. So how do they go from point A to point B is, also difficult as well. Sort of explainability. And I don't know if we'll ever fully get there as a user, which is why, later on in my in my next session, talking about things that we can do to actually make sure that we're doing things correctly and not having to deal with the black box. And so the black box concept we'll talk about later. Also, there's the risk of over relying on AI, right? Instead of using it as tool, you're using it as to do your job. So one example is writing like a blog post. So I actually wrote one last week, and I thought I would just let Gemini write it for me. And I looked at it. I could never have posted it, as they wrote it. Don't they? Gemini wrote it. Okay. So the idea is to use it as a tool, to help you and to catch yourself when you're sort of overusing it. And, that does, risk. And that leads me into, lack of human touch. People think that the robots are coming to, take over the world. And I don't think that that's the case. I think the tools are there, but the human element still, need to be there. But I think given that it's so easy to use these tools and it's so powerful, it can be really easy to lose sight of that. Exclusionary, using chatbots. So what I mean by that is there are lots of different people that have different personal needs. And so for example, someone may not be able to actually interact with a chatbot. So someone may have sight impairment and they can't use chatbot, or they don't have use of their arms, so they can't type, or those types of things. So you would have to make sure that when you're using some of these cool tools, that you're not actually excluding people in favor of the ease of use of these tools. Okay. And I bolded the last one, ethics. So there is a section that we are going to be talking about here. Ethical consideration. This is probably one of the biggest topics right now, is that a lot of people are struggling with the balancing act and making sure that if they are using these tools, that they actually align to their brand, to their value proposition, and then ultimately ethical standards. So I just wanted to just mention those things here. And that's it for me. I'll come back later and talk about data and bias and all that boring stuff, but this is where the fun starts. And so once again, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A so we can get to them later. I'm going to hide myself, and I want to bring in Hillary and Janelle. This part's really exciting. So thank you all. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen, right?
Yeah, I'm going to share mine.
Okay.
We're into sharing. Okay. Hi, everybody. Really, really nice to talk to y'all. I'm going to share my window here. Hopefully I picked the right one. Okay. There we go. Okay. Can y'all see my ChatGPT?
Looking
there
good.
You go. Okay. Awesome. So basically, when it comes to recruiting with any of these platforms, even if they're paid, if you get the upgraded chat, GPT, Gemini, whatever you use, always make sure fact check, because I'm sure some of you have, put your teeth into it and done some experiments yourselves, and then you realize it's saying something crazy that makes zero sense, right? So you always need to double check your facts. And one thing I really, really wanted to talk to you guys about is job. I'm sorry here, I'm on the wrong slide, but basically your job as it relates to job descriptions, right? Because as all of us know, it is kind of a pain in the butt to have to go back and forth and write a job description, not having all the information. And sometimes hiring managers just expect you to be able to jump right in there, write that description, and be perfect, which is really, really hard because let's be honest, if you are not a software engineer or you are not a paid media specialist or a growth marketer, how can you effectively write that job description and then make it really, compelling to the kind of candidate you want to attract? And then on top of that, make it in a way that the format looks just exactly what relates back to your company, your employer branding, etc. So really, it is about making it really everything that you need it to be for your organization. So I am going to move this over here. And what we want to do is turn a basic job description into an awesome job description. So I'm going to have to go in and out here, so I apologize for that. So in order to do that, we're going to do this with ChatGPT. And what you guys are going to find between ChatGPT, Gemini, other platforms is that some are better at one thing and some are better at another. And I've learned this really quickly with some of these tools. Some do both, and it's really great because Gemini and ChatGPT do it very differently. I've noticed it is kind of different. So it's really great to use both just because you'll have two things to compare or blend or whatever you want to do. So, okay, let's see, for example, we're going to start with a data scientist. You work at Awesome Data. That is your organization. You love it. It's a great company. And you need a new data scientist that has natural processing language and AWS. So, oh my gosh, you don't know where to start. You are not a data scientist, obviously. So how do you write a compelling job description that's going to impress the hiring manager, your boss, etc., and really speak to the type of candidates you want to hire? Okay, so we're going to start with the basic prompt here. Create a JD for a data, can't spell today, scientist with NPL and AWS. Boom. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. Okay. Come on, buddy.
I love that it gives you tips at the start. It's like, using this to create a job description can help attract the right candidates. Like, I'm
Yeah,
serious.
really? Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Thank you, ChatGPT. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Okay, so giving me a long job description. I will tell you this. I find ChatGPT to be very wordy. Edit thyself, ChatGPT. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Right, you can see here, it obviously understands what NLP stands for since it uses it, and AWS as well. It is, ChatGPT is really great at when you put in technical, jargon, skills, programming languages, data warehouses, etc. It's going to understand what you mean. You put in ETL, it's going to know that's the data warehouse. So when we're looking at this job description, let's see what we got. We got a little bit of an intro, which is nice. Key responsibilities, design and develop NLP models. It's including the AWS cloud services and so on and so forth. Looking for a PhD in computer science, minimum of 3 years of experience as a data scientist, et cetera, et cetera. So it's got some nice stuff here, but you kind of know what this hiring manager wants, right? Because he sent you two former colleagues he used to work with that aren't interested, but he said, oh my gosh, these are two people that would be amazing in this role. So what you're going to do next is prompt ChatGPT to take a look at these two candidates and tell you what it thinks. So I'm going to attach my candidates here. data scientist 1 and data scientist 2, and those are their birth given names. It's having trouble. Saying you're going to run into this. You're going to run into glitchy stuff here. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. So, and when you see something weird, like I can't compute that, and it's computed something for you before, ask again. It's just having a bad day. So we've got our 2 data scientists that the hiring manager sent and said would be amazing, but they're not available. So what you're going to say now is, see here, now take these 2 resumes and blend the skills and expertise on their resumes, be specific, into the job description. Okay, so just again, if we take a quick look here, you're going to see required skills, NLTK, SpaceI, EC2, etc., a whole bunch of stuff. I have no idea what that means. And we're going to click do it. Let's see what it comes up with now. And take a sec to read. Reads a lot faster than I do.
So would you say, Hillary, like regarding like Jeff and his comments on like data privacy, like especially when you're using ChatGPT, like you can still use these resumes, just like deleting the personal information.
I strip the name and contact info off of it. You can even script, take the company info off of it, right? But it's about, you just want to capture those skills. You can always just cut and paste from the resume that portion of it and put it in there.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's see. Amazon Web Services, implement machine learning models for predictive analytics. That's definitely something my hiring manager and I talked about, my fake hiring manager at Awesome Data, to build scalable, right? So going by this, you see it added new skills, TensorFlow and PyTorch, right? So given that hiring manager said, these are 2 people that would be great in this role, and he gave you the resumes so you knew, and you see all this, wow, okay, now you have a really good baseline job description that is, really blending. You got your basic skeleton, then you blended it with 2 perfect candidates, so think Frankenstein here, and you're liking this, it looks good. But let's say we know at this organization, we always want people who are servant leaders, no matter what level you're at. That's what really drives our culture. So you want to refine it a little bit. So we're going to ask it to, we're going to go to required skills under key responsibilities. And spelling. ChatGPT is great. It does not care about my spelling, but I feel weird having spell errors. Okay. Under key responsibilities, add a bullet about being a servant leader. And always ask it, because sometimes it'll just spit out the bullet and expect you to add it. But say, give me the same job description and add. If you say add it rather than give me a bullet point on it, it will add it. So just make sure you're prompting it correctly when you do that. Serve as a servant leader within a team, promoting an environment of accountability, inclusivity, and collaboration, encouraging team growth and effective problem solving. So to me, that's a perfect add, except serve as a servant leader. That's a little too much. Let's get rid of the serve in the beginning and change it to something else. Act as a servant leader. Okay, wonderful. So it did, I think, a pretty darn good job of this, right? Am I going to go through the skills and check everything? What you want to do after this is completed, read the whole darn thing, make sure it is what it says it is, right? And that there's nothing weird in here. Look at those 2 resumes again, make sure it captured what this hiring manager was trying to say, et cetera. And then here's another fun thing to do. We can really take this job description and make it our own rather quickly in the style that we generally use for posting on our career sites. And everybody's different. Some are going to be really stuffy and very corporate and professional, and then others are going to be really, really down to earth and fun. And in Awesome Data, we are a lot of fun. So what we are going to do is ask them, or ask ChatGPT, and I always ask very nicely. I'm very polite to ChatGPT. And we are going to make sure that we are putting this into a great template. So I am going to open my template here, and I'll be honest. I tried this a couple different ways with working with templates, and what I've noticed is I get much more success with ChatGPT if I just paste it in there rather than attach it as a document. It always seems to error up when I do that. So just to remember that when working with templates, probably better to cut and paste. So I am going to my Awesome Data job description template, and this is just that base one we use for all our postings. So let me copy that on there. Okay. Great job, ChatGPT. Thumbs up.
Just in case they do take over the world, you want to make sure you're being nice to them, right?
and when you guys put in a template, when you paste on a template, give it instructions in the template. Like I will put parentheses, like under job duties, parentheses, bulleted list of job responsibilities, something that ChatGPT will see. And then I always write, put the job description into this template and follow the template instructions. Boom, done. Okay, so now I'm just going to go down here. I am going to paste. And as you can see, here's how it looks. And let's see here. So if you look at what we're talking about, like, why do you want to join Awesome Data? Be part of a quirky company accelerating at an upward trajectory with real humans who sincerely enjoy their shared mission and purpose. All right, so I just want to clarify that it's going to spit back the same information. So here we go. Okay, so reading that top bar, the About Us piece that we all have on most of our job descriptions, is exactly how it was on the template. So it came out perfectly because it followed the instructions. Talks about the role just like it did. It's adding, instead of required skills, I put in, what you, or duties, I put what you'll do, right? Your required skills, what you bring, right? More casual, fun environment at this company. So master's or PhD in computer science. And why join Awesome Data? Be part of a mission-driven company that empowers individuals to advance their skills. And then the bottom one, express yourself freely in an inclusive, casual work setting, Hawaiian shirts and baseball caps encouraged, right? So everything I want it to be and more. But let's say I want to take this even further, because this is exactly templated how I like it. But like I said, we're a different sort of company. We're a little bit more down to earth than your average, data company. So we want to promote that because we want those types of people to apply, right? The ones that you can be a data scientist and be funny and down to earth, right? You don't have to be stuffy, right? So can you add some emojis to this description? And I spelled that wrong, clearly. I don't know why I keep correcting it. It doesn't matter. Okay, here we go. Certainly. I love how it's so enthusiastic. Sure. Is anyone polite to ChatGPT? I'm always like, please do this. Thank you. Can you? Not just do it.
Yes, I am.
I feel like I'll get better
please and
results.
thank
if I'm
you
nice.
and
A lot of thank yous.
And when you
Well,
do
I'm
take
Canadian,
over the
right?
world, you'll be nicer to me than everyone else, right? We're going on a list. Okay, great. There's a lot of emojis, so maybe a few too many. So maybe I'm going to take some of these off. But for the sake of this exercise, we're just leaving it at is. We are happy-go-lucky with emojis today. Okay, so it definitely, see, everything is still as I had it on the template. Company's mission is still the same, the role, everything. So one thing I will tell you about ChatGPT, you'll see the little clipboard, the copy. I don't like it. It copies funky to me, and I never get the layout I want it. For any of you who have used it before, if you paste it onto a doc or whatever, it gives like hashtags and asterisks and all that fun stuff. And I know that's how it reads. But yeah, I hate it. So what I'm going to do, I'm literally just going to cut and paste this right off of ChatGPT, and it's going to look amazing when I paste it. Oops, if I don't go too far. Okay, so here's my job description. And for fun's sake, because I am a Team Tailor user, I will tell you I'm avid about it for several reasons. Okay, so this is actually Tribe's entity of Team Tailor. So I am going to create my job, and I'm going to put in the job title, data scientist, and we'll fancy that up later on. And don't click paste as plain text, just click paste. Look, everything, headings, emojis transferred over beautifully, which I love. So I'm going to save this as a draft, and I am going to add a fun picture because AI is taking over the world, and I'm here for it. Okay, save draft again. So at the end of the day, something that took me literally such a short amount of time to do is now ready to go. So we are going to go to the data scientist. There's my little robots with guns. I don't know if guns are appropriate for my career site, but heck, that's okay. This is just a sample. And then if you look down here, this is my job description as it would show, right? So this right here, this whole thing I just showed you in what, I don't know, 10 minutes or less, saved me hours of time, right? So writing job descriptions from scratch, even with the skeletons they have online, you still got to sit there and iterate and edit and, make sure it's perfect, right? So this has saved me loads of time. Obviously, like we said, you wouldn't just post this flat out. You might on occasion when it's Friday at like 4 o'clock and you're like, I got other things to do, but right, you need to get it posted. But right now, obviously, this looks pretty darn good for what I'm looking for. So I'm really, really excited about that. We go back to our master class here. So I want to talk to you guys about smarter sourcing and outreach. So we went through the job descriptions. I hope that gave you some great information on what you can do and really like just make those things sing. And then smarter sourcing and outreach, right? So obviously people hate Boolean strings. They hate them, and rightfully so. They are a terror to write, and or parentheses, this, that, the other. It is confusing. I hate it. And I love using it with AI. And you can search within LinkedIn Recruiter. You can search beyond LinkedIn. And it is really going to show you some really awesome things you can do with this. So for this exercise, we're going to go to Gemini. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Gemini, it is very similar to ChatGPT, but it is created by Google. And they don't have business accounts yet, to my knowledge, but you can get a personal account. So long story short, let's say, for example, you are a tech recruiter, and you know how much fun that is in the competitive world of hiring software engineers, right? And let's see here. you work in Texas, right? So you're a remote organization, but you need someone who sits in Texas so you can all meet together. And you are looking for a full stack engineer in Texas with Ruby, React, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So okay. Write me a Boolean search string for a full stack engineer in Texas with Ruby, React, JavaScript, and TypeScript. Okay, press go. Here are a few different Boolean search strings. And this is cool about Gemini. It will give you different ideas. I've noticed ChatGPT is starting to do this, but it's kind of when it decides it wants to do it. But you'll see Gemini does it frequently. So prioritizing Ruby and React, broader search with skills combination, location as the primary focus, etc. And the great thing about these is that you can kind of tweak them as you need. So let's do the broader skills with combinations, because in most engineering departments, you know, you might not have TypeScript, but you have React, right? Or you don't have TypeScript, but you have Go, right? So all these different kind of things. So let's just take this one, and all I'm going to do is full stack engineer Google search it. So here's what's happening, right? Search is there, looks good. But this is what generally comes up when you do a Boolean search in Google. You're going to get a lot of job postings. You're going to get Glassdoor. You're going to get this and that. You're going to get few and far between. Like here's Taylor Clifton on TopTel, who I think you would probably have to pay for, right? Basically, we want to change that. So we're going to go back to Gemini, and we're going to say, using option 2, so that's the one we like, add, and I always put it in quotes just to be careful, bio, and or profile, and or about me, and or LinkedIn. So let's see where it goes. Absolutely. So excited. And what's funny, right, is you see this one is actually different looking how they presented it than these up here. So it really makes me curious, like, you know, who's the Gemini robot I'm talking to, right? Because they all seem to act a little differently. All right, so let's search Google for this. Lo and behold, look at all these profiles. Boom, right in front of our faces. So this is really, really good. So you don't need LinkedIn to specifically be, you don't need LinkedIn Recruiter. We all know it's a necessary evil, but man, does it cost a lot. So this is a way to get around that, right? So let's look at Mark here, Mark Gardner. Take a look at Mark, creative front-end developer with React and JavaScript. He's a full stack developer right now. He's freelance, so he might be looking for something full-time, definitely in the Texas area. He was an engineering instructor, which is great. He can train my team, and so on and so forth. So you can really get a great insight into candidates without having to go the entire LinkedIn Recruiter route. Another way you can do this also is if we go back to Gemini here. So if you go back to your search, and let's say you take out the LinkedIn piece and you just do about me, profile, bio, contact me, etc. That's when you put that in, and it should come up with people who have personal websites, right? So someone who has created their own website to say, hey, I'm a full stack engineer, blah, 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 blah. And it will pull that up for you, right? So just keep that in mind. If you're like, you know what, I have LinkedIn Recruiter. I've seen all the candidates there. I need something different, or I hate LinkedIn, or whatever it is, right? Because it's all about tweaking this to make it work for you. So if we go back to our slide here, so this is like the super fun thing that I am super excited about. It's called sentiment analysis. This may be a new term to some of you. Some of you may have heard of it, but this is what is going to show me as a recruiter how to communicate with candidates, right? So let's say you have a really niche job that like it's in an industry, that it just not a lot of people have the skill set, job title, whatever it is. It's something very niche. So you need to really have targeted outreach, and you should have targeted outreach anyway, but it really helps you communicate with candidates the right way in a message sense that is going to make them go, oh, what's this, right? Rather than, oh God, it's another recruiter. And so let's just go back over. We're going to do this one in ChatGPT. And in order to do this, I'm going to go to a new chat here, like a clean slate. And I am using, where'd he go? There he is. My buddy, James DeLine. We used to work together. I love him. He's really awesome, super smart, really nice guy, knows his stuff. He is a senior director of product marketing and strategy. And so I want to get to know better James as a recruiter, right? I don't know him, but I love his profile. He's senior director of product marketing strategy. He comes from sports tech, which is really exciting because that's what my organization does at Awesome Data. We have a sports division, which is so exciting. So we need someone like James to fill our director of product marketing, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on a James profile here. You can see his posts, but I'm going to go to show all posts. And as you can see, here's all his posts, right? And so all I'm going to do is this. I am going to scroll and scroll and scroll as long as I can hold that mouse button. I'm going to let it reload so I can add some more just in case. Now I'm going to stop, and I am going to copy this bad boy. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to say, conduct a sentiment analysis on James DeLine, showing me how I can better, how do I spell here? Communicate all right, I'm gonna give myself a few spaces, and all I'm gonna do is paste all this. And ChatGPT will even tell you when you're doing the sentiment analysis is to get rid of the unnecessary garbage, but I never do that, and it always works. So just keep that in mind, because for me to do that, I might as well just scroll through all the posts myself and do it myself. Okay, so here we go. I'll scroll down here. James shows a strong commitment to his role in his company, which is true, frequently sharing updates about Team Snap's development and open positions. His language is upbeat and inclusive, often calling for action or participation, suggesting a proactive and motivational leadership style, and that's all true. He often praises his colleagues and encourages teamwork. His repeated mention of team accomplishments rather than individual success indicate a collaborative spirit. Let's see. He discusses the benefits of remote work and the adaptability of his company, suggesting he values flexibility and innovative approaches. Community impact. He often links the company's activities with broader community impacts and development, showing a keen awareness of the company's role in larger contexts. Discussions that tie back to community impact or the broader industry trends might engage him more deeply. So this is really giving us a lot of insight into his personality, right? I ran this last week on another candidate who had a incredibly strong military background. He is a veteran, and he is a liaison for Congress for the military. So he works obviously with Congress. He's been a veteran his whole life. And I did the same thing. I did the exact same process and ran it on him. And it was a completely different outcome, right? He is into honor and loyalty, and still, very upbeat and kind, but a different kind, right? Like there's me. Like if you did one on me, it's probably going to say she's, excited as a jumping bean. She might be psychotic, right? Like because and then there's other people who you do this for, you're going to get a more subdued response, or this is what they focus on. Like with Jim here, he is into community and impact, right? That's big for him. And I know that this is true. So it's a really, really helpful tool. And it really helps you get to know people that you want to target as a great candidate. So this is where this comes in. Write me let's see here, LinkedIn message I can send to James for let's see here, for a director of product. Sorry here, my fingers are ahead of my typing. Product marketing and strategy at my company. So you put collaboration in the subject, which is a big thing with him. And you'll see that like throughout his posts, his teamwork, collaboration, etc. I've been following your work at Team Snap with great interest, particularly your innovative approach to product marketing and strategy in the sports tech sector. Your leadership is driving growth and fostering a collaborative remote work environment. Great. This is wonderful. This is a good message. I think it's a little long, right? I like short, punchy messages to candidates. But I want more out of this, right? This is a nice message, but I think we can do better. So what I am going to do is I am going to attach the Senior Director of Product Marketing and Strategy job description for Awesome Data, right? So I have my job description. I'm going to attach it for them to review. And I'm going to say, hey, ChatGPT, review this job description and rewrite. I can't spell like we said. Rewrite the LinkedIn message targeting James, but incorporating more about the role. All right. So it's going to review the job description, reading the documents. At Awesome Data Sports Division, been following your impressive work at Team Snap and your strategic contribution in the sports tech industry. Align closely. We are on the lookout for a senior director of product management to lead our sports division. This role focuses on merging sports analytics with marketing strategies to empower sports organizations, etc. So it's giving me more. And I'm going to say, I like it. I think it's good. Targeted. Please make this more down to earth. And let's just do that. Please make it more down to earth. Here's a more relaxed version, which is how I talk, right? I never want to talk to candidates how I don't talk because it feels forced, right? So I always think it's best to do it in how I would want someone to approach me. I've been keeping an eye on the fantastic things you're doing over at Team Snap. That, to me, would resonate, right? Thanks for considering it. Would you be interested in a quick call? That's exactly how I would talk. So I love it. We're going to even tell it. Great job. Don't make me a minion when you come into power. Great job. Please rewrite this and please make shorter and more concise. All right, because that to me is a long outreach message. I lose attention after like the first 5 minutes of like anything. So if you're giving me a message, it's like the first 5 seconds. There we go. I've been impressed by your work at Team Snap, especially your approach to product marketing and sports tech. We're looking for a senior director. Add a little more back and keep down to earth. That didn't give me the best result. This is why you've got to work with it, tweak with it, edit, make it your own. What was that movie? George? I'm going to pet him, make him my very own. It's a very famous movie. I can't remember.
Oh, it's the mouse you're talking about, Of Mice and Men.
I think that's it. Yes. Okay. Hi, James. I've been following your success at Team Snap. I'm really impressed by how you've integrated marketing strategies with sport tech. We're searching for a senior director of product marketing and strategy of our sports division, and your expertise is just what we need. Could we schedule a quick call to discuss the role? I think there's a great match between your skills and our vision. So if I'm James and I'm seeing this, and trust me, James is a sports fanatic. I just happen to know this because I worked with him, but this would appeal to him, right? Because it is in his field. It's sharp and concise. He's a straightforward type of guy. So ChatGPT is seeing that, which I think is phenomenal. So this is really, really, really going to help me move that needle with candidate outreach faster. And let's say in this, director of product and strategy in sports tech, let's be honest, it's probably not going to be a big pool of candidates. You're going to find, I don't know, 30 maybe. Maybe I'm thinking too low, but I can't imagine there's a ton of people. So that said, this will give you that way to target each one the way they want to be targeted, right? So let's go back to our little sentiment analysis here. Now, we've related it into a message, right? And now we want this to turn into something that we can post on social media, right? So we can post it on LinkedIn, we can post it on Facebook, we can post it on our website, right? Now create a CTA for this role. I can post on social media. Here's a compelling call to action. We're on the hunt for a visionary leader. Awesome Data is looking for a senior director of product marketing and strategy to take our sports, blah, 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 to the next level. Lead and shape the future of sports analytics. I like that. Drive product strategy that resonates with sports teams and fans. Work with a dynamic team in a creative and supportive environment. Interested? Click the link. And then it even gives you the hashtags, which I freaking love. So this automatically sets you up to just, tweak this a little bit, however you need to tweak it, and then post this bad boy to LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, your career site, wherever you want to post it, right? Thank you. I love the applause. And so this is really just a really great way to really start just pinpointing those candidates. And once you get the hang of this, this becomes a very fast process. And it's still, let's be honest, 50 times faster, 100 maybe, than having to, go from that very basic, I don't know this person, how I'm going to outreach, the research I have to do, et cetera, et cetera. It cuts that time, like I would say, by 75%. So we're going to go back to our masterclass, and I'm not sure which slide I'm on, to be honest. No, I'm going backwards, so that's not good. Here we go. Okay, Candidate submissions. We did not talk about this. So writing candidate submissions, this to me is super, super cool and super, super relevant. And it really, it depends on where you work, right? Your level, where you work, et cetera. But in a lot of companies, you're going to have to write those write-ups for a hiring manager. I have to tell you, like I said, I've been doing this a long time. The bane of my existence is doing this type of administrative work where I have to, and everyone wants it different. Some people, like some companies are like, oh, we do a really long write-up, and like thinking like thesis paper long, which is ridiculous. When you have a resume that's shorter. And some companies want it bulleted. Some want, paragraphs and paragraphs, right? Everybody wants it differently. And it's a big pain in the butt for recruiters because you just want to get this person submitted. I have a writing background, but a lot of people don't. I would assume most recruiters don't have a writing background, right? So this is not something that it's a struggle to have to put so much brain power into something like this when you just want to get this person into the hot hands of that hiring manager. So I'm going to show you how to do this in a fast, friendly way. Let's see. So here we go. We're going to go back to ChatGPT. I'm going to give myself a new plan. So we have a need for a sales rep at Awesome Data. We are scaling fast, as you can tell from this company's amazing trajectory. So we need to hire a sales rep for Awesome Data. I have found a great candidate. He is phenomenal. I just interviewed him. He's just a lovely guy, lots to offer us. So I need to do that perfect submittal to get the hiring manager's attention. So what I am going to do is I am going to get my candidate, who I have named John Friday, just because I thought that was kind of a fun name. And then I'm going to get my job description for my sales rep at Awesome Data. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT to complete a task for me. So I am going to tell ChatGPT, please compare John's resume to the sales rep job description. See, I spelled it wrong. I don't care. Job description, and highlight the areas that make John a great fit for this role. Okay. Several key areas: sales experience. Job requires 3 or more years, high volume B2B. When John meets with his current role as a sales development representative, training and sales techniques, John has invested in Cole Gordon's Remote Closing Academy, which aligns with the job's demand for excellent verbal and written communication skills and the ability to build rapport, commitment to health and wellness. The position in Awesome Data emphasizes the passion for living a healthy lifestyle, which John reflects. Professional qualities. This job description values candidates who are self-motivated, empathetic, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, great. Write me a submittal to a hiring manager for John. Certainly. Introduction to John Friday. Hope this message finds you well. I am writing to introduce John Friday, candidate, blah, blah, blah. John brings over 3 years of experience in B2B sales, which he has consistently exceeded his performance targets. Additionally, his educational pursuits, et cetera, et cetera. So, wow, this is long. This is way too long. But some hiring managers love long format. God bless their little hearts. So how much time does this save you as somebody who has to do something like this? Okay. It did a good job. It did exactly what I asked it to do. It looked at the job description, compared it to John's, and pulled out all of John's highlights. What I like is that it pulled out the highlights, not the detractors, right? And that's how we want to showcase our candidates to hiring managers, is always in the best light, right? So, and if you want, you can also say, what might be areas where John could need some work, and add that as well, right? It really depends on how you market as a recruiter and how transparent you want to be. I mean, obviously everybody knows there's no perfect candidate. So really it's about tailoring this to fit your needs as a human. But here's the thing. This is not how I would submit. Yes, Jeff
I have a
Waldman.
question for you.
Yes.
What if we want to add notes, like interview notes? You could probably add that to this also, right?
Correct. Right. So interview notes, exactly. And we can do that in a number of different ways. So you can do that through Zoom. They have the AI feature now where it will take notes for you, and which is fantastic. You can do that. I know Team Taylor's app does that, which is awesome. That's, I think that feature came out a few months ago, and it's fabulous. So it will do the same thing. They have an internal video system. You can record whatever, very similar to Zoom, Google Meets, and it will do the same. AI will give all the notes for you. I have an interview tomorrow that I will actually use that for. And then you can put it into, how you want to work it, right? So here's the beauty of this, right? So again, with my precious templates, I love a good template. We're going to do this. So we're not sitting there, cutting and pasting, editing, whatever, putting this into bullet points. We don't have to do all that. So I'm going to go to where's my submittal template for awesome data? Let me get my submittal template. And now, because I really dislike how this is written, because it's super long, a little too professional, I like down to earth. Okay, so I'm going to attach, I'm just going to cut and paste it. I'm going to paste it. So I know it's hard to see here, but I like something more. I say, hey, hiring manager's name. That's just how I talk. So I'm going to use this template and rewrite the middle following template instructions. Boom. List key achievements. See, use bullet points for clarity and impact. Hey, hiring manager. John Friday is a strong contender for the sales representative position. I think John is well suited to meet the demands of the role and get up to speed quickly. That totally sounds like something I would say. His name, phone number, URL. And that's one thing. If I strip this because that is a candidate's resume and I stripped all the data off it, hence the name John Friday. And it will pull their phone number, their email, etc. So obviously be careful how you use that, but it will pull all that onto the template. So we're looking at this. John Friday's a strong contender, summary of qualifications, his key achievements, consistently exceeded sales targets by over 15% each quarter, successfully manage a client portfolio or over 100 accounts. And this is what I really like about this, is it is pulling those, data-driven results that are really good. Like, when you see a vague resume and it's got no results on it, you're kind of like, eh. But then when you see, exceeded sales target by 15% on a quarterly basis, that's like, wow, that's something, right? So then I love that it's pulling it. See, each thing it put in key achievements shows a result. Sales campaign that resulted in 20% increase in qualified leads. And this is what hiring managers love to see. This is what I would love to see, right? He's got a commitment to health and wellness, which is in line with the company's mission, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. So as you can see, this did a really good job. It just threw it right into the template for me. But because I'm a responsible citizen of the universe, I'm going to read this, edit it, fact check it against his resume, make sure everything is correct. And of course, thank you, Jeff Waldman, for bringing that up. I'm going to add my interview notes as well. And if I had interview notes for John Friday, who I've never met, I would read those into this ChatGPT discussion. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we've done all this. It's template friendly. We're good to go here. So now we want to go to our next slide. And that would be writing prompts. Hiring, marketing, and industry. I skipped this, and this is so much fun. We don't need to spend a lot of time here. This is really, really important, right? I will tell you this. When I was a young recruiter, I was terrified of everyone. I thought I was going to look like an idiot. I would not instill confidence. How am I going to meet with a hiring manager or a leadership team and instill confidence in my abilities when I don't know what the heck they're talking about, right? And you're put on the spot, right? You don't have this information at your fingertips in a meaningful way. So now with ChatGPT, you can get that information very, very quickly and use it when you are walking into a leadership meeting. And I would think anyone who's been in HR recruiting, there's always been that conversation. Why don't we have enough? We don't have enough candidates. Why don't we have enough candidates? And then they just give that glowering look to the recruitment team. Must be your fault. And we know that is not always the case, right? But if you come armed with data, you can share that information. So you can talk to leadership with confidence that, something needs to change on their end as well, because you're not getting the candidates because of the market and industry research you've done, right? So let's try that out here. So we're going to pop over to Gemini. We're going to start a new search here. And let's see, we are working in California. We are at a startup, cool startup where, hopefully there's no ping pong tables, but a cool startup, right? So what are they looking for? Oh my goodness, they are looking for AI. And I'm going to cut and paste this. So they're looking for AI engineers. Go freaking figure. So I'm going to paste this. Boom. How competitive is the current job market in 2024 for AI engineers in California? And what is the average salary? Because I have my boss at Bad Data Startup breathing down my neck. See what I did there? Okay. So here we go. Boom. Here is a breakdown of the current AI engineer job market in California, 2024. Make sure you put that in there because you want to make sure you're getting fresh data and not data from 2022, 2019. Obviously, very different landscapes. High demand, California, especially the Silicon Valley region, remains a central hub for AI innovation and development. This translates into significant demand. Growing competition, obviously, as more, no more non-competes. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more competition. Boom, that just happened. So yes, so growing competition, skilled specialization. Obviously, this is someone who really knows their stuff. Deep learning, NLP, computer vision, reinforcement learning. Like, it's not easy to be an AI engineer. Let's be honest. All right, lucrative earnings. Go figure. AI engineers in California command some of the highest salaries in the tech industry. Estimated average up to 300,000 plus, right, for a really strong AI engineer. And I don't even think they need to be a manager, which is really rude now that I'm reading this. How to stand out in the competitive market, blah, blah, blah. So here's the thing, right? So, Sally Recruiter is at a startup in Silicon Valley. And, at bad data, not awesome data, bad data. And the CEO is not understanding. I don't understand. Why don't we have candidates? We're in Silicon Valley. There's AI engineers all over the place. Well, bad CEO at bad data. I'm going to tell you why, because obviously the market is so contentiously competitive right now that there is nothing we can do to get AI if we're not going to invest in engineers, then if we're not going to invest more money into recruiting, right? Because look at this. You look at the salary, $300,000. We need to do something to attract these candidates, and you're offering less for a senior AI engineer in Silicon Valley. You're offering far less than that. So how are you supposed to compete, right? So you come in with this data, and what you're going to do, obviously, because you are brilliant and very smart, you are going to click this little button here to double check the responses, right? And you're going to maybe ask for more information, give me some sources where you found the salary data, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to give you also how competitive it's going to show you some searches you can do on your own. So it's really going to feed that beast for that knowledge piece, right? Which is so, so important. Okay. So we've done that. We know how to walk into bad CEO at bad data and explain to him, this is why you don't have many candidates for this role. Okay. So now what we want to do is, let's see here. We want to go into, I don't know. I am a new tech recruiter. I've been doing this for a year. It's like spaghetti to me, right? There's so much thrown at me with languages and databases and AI and I don't know a language from a database from a this from a that, right? So you find even if you're a senior tech recruiter at a certain point, like there's so many new technologies come out that you need to be aware of and have some knowledge of. It can be very stressful. So what we want to do is kind of help ourselves out. We have our engineering manager, Cliff, at Bad Data. He needs someone. Okay, no, he's at Awesome Data. We like Cliff. Okay, we're changing our tune here. Cliff needs someone with Haskell programming language. I bet there are some tech recruiters in here who've never heard of Haskell, right? Because it is kind of new. It's kind of niche, but it's getting attention now. Why? Because it is a very, very accurate mathematical algorithm. But as someone who hasn't been doing this long, I'm just finally figuring out what TypeScript is, right? So what I'm going to do is go into my handy dandy Gemini, and I'm going to say, and yes, I am cutting pasting this, so give me a second here so you don't have to watch me typo it. Okay, so tell me about Haskell programming language, what it is used for, and what types of industries and engineers use Haskell the most. Absolutely. Let's talk about Haskell. Haskell, a functioning programming powerhouse, right? Is great general purpose. It has laziness. I love a lazy programming language. Haskell only evaluates expressions when their values are needed. This can lead to elegant solutions and performance optimization. So lazy is good as in this case. What is Haskell used for? Finance, financial institutions love it. FinTech loves it because it gives very, very precise mathematical algorithms. Compilers and language design, web development, research and academia. So blockchain, of course. So now you're getting an idea where you as a recruiter can go target Haskell candidates. They're going to be in FinTech. They're going to be in blockchain. They're going to work at major banks, right? They're going to be in areas of business where this is a really, really important thing. And there you go, industries, FinTech, tech companies, smaller startups, and niche businesses. And then types of engineers, right? Engineers focused on correctness, engineers interested in functional programming, engineers in research settings, probably engineers who are really interested in data science and manipulating it and how to use it properly, right? So you've just gotten yourself a whole bunch of information on Haskell that when you meet with Cliff, the engineering manager at Awesome Data, you can say, so, talk to me about exactly what you're looking for this person to do, Mr. Cliff. Is it mathematical algorithms? Like, why do they need Haskell? And then he's going to say, oh, you're so smart for knowing that. And then you're getting that credibility you need, right? And I think that is a big piece that can be missing sometimes between the recruiter and the hiring manager relationship. And sometimes it's because it's a junior recruiter. Sometimes it's because you have so much going on, you can barely bless yourself. Let alone like attend to his Haskell needs, right? But this is a very quick way to get that information and put it in meaningful words that you can talk to him like you know your stuff about Haskell, and he's going to have a much different conversation with you than if he's going in there and talking to you like you're a 5-year-old, right? So it's about us changing that perception. So One other thing I want to show you with this, and this is super cool. I love this so, so much because it is so important. I find that I get better results with Gemini for this than I do with ChatGPT, but try both, right? Because like I said, you're going to get different for different things. So let's see here. All right. Like I said, I'm that tech recruiter. I've only been doing it a year. I still, am struggling to understand, what a code monkey is, right? But so I want to make sure I know. So I'm going to go back to Gemini, who's going to help me out tremendously here. And I am going to say, there we go. Be my friend today. There we go. Okay. Build me a glossary of the most common and complex software engineering job titles and what they do. Front-end developer, back-end developer, full-stack developer, mobile, DevOps, data engineer, data scientist, machine learning engineer, cloud architect, security, VP, CTO, director, manager, overlap is very common, et cetera, et cetera. So this is really like helping me out, just understanding what these titles mean, right? Because like a front-end developer is very different than a full-stack developer, right? And a DevOps engineer is different than all of them, right? So we really got to make sure that we as recruiters just understand the basic job titles with some of these industries like technology, right? It can be a lot. And then here we go. We are also very curious about programming languages because like I said, I am very dumb in this area. I've only been doing it for a year. Click the hiring manager. He likes me now, but what if he understands I'm an idiot? So we want to not be an idiot, right? And that's the one thing I will say is that's the hard part with recruiting. You're expected to know a lot about a lot of different industries, a lot of different job roles. And it is a lot of information for one person to carry. So do yourself a favor. We're going to help ourselves out again. Build me a glossary of the top 15 programming languages and how they are used and what other tech skills they might be used with. This to me is brilliant. So JavaScript, the king of web development. We all know that. I think even with my 1 year of experience, I know this. Okay, so how it works, the tech it works with, how it's used. Python, obviously extremely popular, and it's really going to show you the tech that it works with Pandas, Django, etc., Java, C#, like on down the list, Golang. I love Go, let's go, right? So it's really going to give you all that information, and you can even add on to this, what are some emerging languages not on the list, and what do they do? Come on now. Here we go. Perfect. This is giving me languages that are more niche, right? So not tons of people have them. They may have only been out for, let's say, I don't know, last 5 years, maybe less, maybe a little bit more. But a language, like, I think people don't understand, if a language has been out for 6 years, then everybody must know it. Not the case at all. Not the case at all. So like Elixir's been out for a while now, but it's still not like the easiest skill to find. So it's giving you that list of things that are different that may come up and what they do, right? And why pay attention to these languages. It's even giving you information you didn't ask for, which I think is fantastic, right? So all of that. Let's see here. I would say, okay, this will be our last one. So let's say you just got a job, at AG1, right? They're that company that sells all the supplements, the gummies, the super greens, all of that good stuff to put into your body, make you healthy, etc. Obviously, there's a lot of companies like that, but AG1 is obviously one of the bigger ones. And they have a ton of marketing roles coming out, and you have no idea what that means as far as what they do. So what we're going to do very simply, build me a glossary of the most sought after roles in marketing for e-commerce brands. I think this is pretty important. digital marketing manager, SEO specialist, content writer, social media, conversion rate optimization, PPC, pay-per-click specialist. And what's funny is these roles are just as hard to fill as engineering roles, right? You really have to understand the nuances. A lot of people who don't know think marketing is just marketing. That is not the case. There's a huge difference between a product marketer and a growth marketer and, you know, a PPC specialist and a conversion rate optimization specialist, which is kind of like a mad scientist, right? So it's all these different roles. So this is like just building yourself glossaries. And you can do the same thing with behavioral interview questions, things like that. You can really build out all of these nice things, not just for yourself, but you know, whether you're a manager right now or you want to be one, this is going to help you and your teams do better. You're going to be able to share this information with your teams and build upon it. And literally you can iterate every month on this information to update it, right? So lots and lots of good things here. And last but not least, if I go to, here we go, writing the right prompts. So this is the last section, so you don't have to hear me for too much longer. But multi-step prompts are much easier for machines to learn, right? That's why you don't want to dump an entire thing of data on, you know, on your poor machine that you're working with at once, right? So like here, you know, we did a lot of different things. We attached the job description we attached on Friday. We asked it to combine it. Then we asked it to write a submittal. Then we asked it to rewrite it in a template, right? If we had done this like all at once, ChatGPT would probably swear at us and tell us we were idiots, right? Because it needs to do it step by step. You're going to get much, much more accurate results. And then iterate and iterate and iterate and iterate. Try it once, try it again, try different tools, because it's all going to end up different. And always, 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 always fact check, fact check, fact check. I think that is probably the most important piece to leave you with is make sure you are using your data in a very, very meaningful way, and you're not submitting something to a hiring manager that you shouldn't be submitting, because man, is that going to be embarrassing, right? And I don't want you to be embarrassed. I've been embarrassed over the years enough for all of us, so let's not keep it going. But that is all I have. Thank you so much. You guys are feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have more questions. And it was just fun talking to you today. And now my throat hurts.
Well, I appreciated everything, and I love that like you're using AI in a way where it's not like taking over like your relationship with your candidate, but instead it's like empowering you to have a better relationship with them.
Yeah, that's it, augmenting.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think Jeff, next up is us giving it a try. So should I share my screen?
Oh, I just shared my screen right now. So, or did you want me? Or did you want to do it? Okay, I'll stop sharing.
Perfect. All right.
Great.
I'm going to share my
Do you want me to send out the Google Doc?
Yeah, that'd be great if you want to go ahead and link it in the chat.
Well, can people see it?
They can see the chat. They just can't comment in the chat.
Okay. So I just shared a Google Doc. So Janelle just, okay.
Yeah, so you should be able to click on that link, and I believe Jeff is going to send it out after our call, which we're basically just going to go through a few of the things that Hillary discussed about their importance and how to do them. So I, being a first-time sentiment analysis person, I'm going to learn this alongside you. So there is a link in the doc. You can feel free to go ahead and click on it. We're going to go into ChatGPT. I'm also going to just go ahead and paste that into the chat. So it's going to pop us over to, of course, our ChatGPT page. What I found out today is that you don't have to sign up in order to use ChatGPT. It's just not going to like record your history. So don't feel the need to create an account right now. But what I'm going to do, Hillary, you wanted to know what ChatGPT would say about you. So I'm going to use you as our guinea pig.
Great, I'm so excited.
So we can all do this together. I'm going to send over Hillary's link, and we're going to go, I think, the correct instructions. Hillary, you're the master. So if at any point I'm doing something wrong, you let me know.
Scroll, and then you'll see that little circle update for more scrolling. And then I just go down another balloon after that. And then I just copy it all.
Oh, my internet's working so well today. I'm so excited.
Woo, I know. We've been really lucky.
Look at that. Okay.
Okay, now this is really old stuff.
Okay. Yeah, 1 year ago. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna paste the content from LinkedIn into ChatGPT, and we're gonna follow this prompt. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this little Zoom Google Meet thing. I'm gonna go ahead and paste it in, but I'm gonna go back up because I did it in reverse order. And I'm going to type in here. I'm gonna grab my insert from the doc, go back to ChatGPT. I'm gonna paste that in. I'm gonna add in please because now I'm also concerned about what happens when they take over the world. We're gonna see what happens. This is exactly, oh, we went too far back. This is exactly like what we were talking about. If we ever get an error with ChatGPT, we just try and try again and then it'll work. So I'm gonna do just a couple of scrolls and not take full advantage of my
I think that's
internet.
good. That's pretty far back.
Perfect.
Yeah, 8 months.
Let's see what we're working with now. I'm gonna refresh. And I'm gonna do that thing again. Copy, go back in here. Again, please don't kill me. Let's say that one's short enough. It's working. Okay.
Oh, I'm excited to see what it says.
Oh, look. Event participation. That's about today. Or I guess it's about Austin, isn't it? Not about today. Okay, it gave us like a little bit of a shorter one. Let's see, some tips on how we can improve this. So I think when you were showing us, you said, can you provide more insight on her communication style? And let's see what it says. Authenticity, enthusiasm. Look at that. Engage, valuable information to your audience. Perfect.
God, it makes me sound so special.
That's so lovely.
To show this to my husband.
I'm very authentic. Okay. And so using that analysis, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to provide me some content for some outreach if I was going to scope you out and bring you over to Team Taylor on our partnership team. Okay, let's see what it says. I'm also very much a short email person, so this seems a bit too long for me. I'm also on, of course, the free version of ChatGPT, so I can't upload a document, but what I could do is maybe I can copy and paste that job description and put it in here.
Yeah, cut and paste works beautifully.
Yes, exactly. So maybe that's something that I want to do, but I'm also like an emoji person, so I'm going to be like, make it shorter in length and add emojis. And then we could keep like tweaking it, adding those, like just like rewriting, iterate again and again and again.
HR director, I love a good emoji.
Yeah, but then this one's a little too short. So like,
yeah, I know. So you got to like kind of work with it, right? And you can say, you know, make it 3 to 4 sentences or 4 to 5 sentences, and it will follow those guidelines.
I love that. Maybe I would also be like, I could add in something that's like comment on something she attended recently.
If you write, you could write, make it more, add some humor. And then you can also then, if it adds too much humor, and this prompt works, make it less cheesy. This prompt works. This prompt actually works. So it actually is. I'm like, who put this in here that they know what cheesy means? I love it.
Wow, this person knows HR like a boss. Let's make it a little less cheesy. so many different iterations of it for sure. So that's just us playing around. So let's go ahead and move on to Gemini, because I don't want to take up too much time so we can get into all the ethics of AI. So I'm going to go ahead.
Gemini or Gemini? Am I pronouncing it wrong?
Jeff, what is it?
Gemini.
It's Gemini, right?
But I mean, look, Janelle, you are from Texas, so you can call it whatever you want.
Well, actually, the problem
Gemini.
is we use an AI recorder that also takes notes. That's called Gemini. So
there you go. That was an Austin thing. You Austin people and your weird pronunciations.
We do have those. Like go down to green. It's spelled weird. So I want to increase my knowledge on a role. So I'm just going to go ahead and go into Gemini. Look at us. I'm going to go ahead and paste this prompt. Again, we're keeping the year in there because that's super important. I'm in Texas, and that's where I'm looking for some ML engineers, which Jeff walked us through what machine learning means earlier today. So let's go ahead and see what it'll show me. Okay. The job market for ML engineers in Texas is very competitive, but with a positive outlook. Oh, that's positive. I love that it gives me links out to things. I'll also, like I said, I use and abuse ChatGPT, like in a nice way though. And it doesn't provide like links and sources to things. So I really like that about this application, specifically when you're trying to get up to date on like the trends going on in the market. So I just wanted to highlight that, but very super straightforward. You can always like ask follow-up questions if you need clarification on something, which is really, really nice, but super straightforward and easy to get this one done for sure.
Janelle, just a little tip there. If you click on the Google icon there, it'll actually help you find the source of what they're actually generating from. Right, so it's really cool. You can understand the results. So quite often when you talk about bias and credibility of data and so on, so Gemini actually allows you to do a bit more to make sure that your sources are actually correct or credible.
Yeah, I have found. Oh, what were you going to say, Hillary?
I was going to say for anyone who wants to try Gemini who hasn't tried it before, you can sign up for their advanced right now, and it's like I think the first 2 or 3 months are completely free and you can cancel at any time. So just an FYI if you want to get it, because I was using this one and then I saw that and I was like, oh, let's try the advanced. But I didn't see too much of a difference in the results. The results with the regular one are super good.
Yeah, and I also you can add in like images and stuff here. So I wonder what the other difference is.
They need work on that. I tried that. No bueno.
All right. No bueno. Good to know. Okay, and the last thing that we will go through today, like Jeff mentioned, the email that you used to sign up for today's discussion, I did just send you an invite to a Team Taylor account. So Team Taylor is a paid solution. Like Hillary mentioned, it's an applicant tracking software. So for today, you can go ahead and check in your inbox or in your spam folder. You should have a lovely email allowing you to create an account. It's not going to charge you anything. All it's going to do is ask you for your name and your password. So I'll give you a few moments to go ahead and do that real quick. I'll also go ahead and delete everyone for the system tomorrow unless you'd like to explore it a little bit longer. But just for today, go ahead and do that. Once you've created your account, you are going to navigate to jobs. So when you're in Team Taylor, this is our dashboard. So just an overview of what's going on in your account. So when I say navigate to jobs, you're just going to do it from your navigation bar here at the top. I'm going to click on jobs. We have a list of jobs that are already available. Hillary showed us a quick preview of what this would look like. But what we'll do is we'll press the plus button here because we want to go ahead and create a job. So it's going to load. It's going to load that form up for us. And then the job, I'm stuck on machine learning. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this job title. Again, since we're in a demo account, it doesn't have like the appropriate business name recorded. So I'm going to say @Team Taylor because that's where I'm at. And then I am actually, instead of using ChatGPT or Gemini to write the job description, I'm actually just going to have Team Taylor's AI write it for us. So I can do that by clicking Draft with Copilot. And what that's going to do is it's going to, exactly like what we saw Hillary do earlier, go ahead and jot down what it believes will be a great job description for this position. Now, as you're posting like more and more jobs with Team Taylor, it's learning your business a little bit more and learning how you speak in those job descriptions typically. So you'll be able to see like it more customized to your business. But this is what it looked like earlier. I can go ahead and edit this anywhere that Team Taylor's Copilot, which is what we call our AI features, is at. You're going to be able to add adjustments. So if you want to add some emojis, if you want to take away some things, you can do that. Yeah, and then you can save it as a draft, get a little sneak preview, see what it'll look like. Maybe you want to go back and add that robot image like Hillary did on hers. And then you'll be able to see what you're working with. Of course, there are a lot of other things I know Hillary hinted at that you can do within Team Taylor, like the note taker AI. You can also have it help you with like your templates for interview kits. But yeah, many more things to do, but I'm going to keep it super basic so we can get to the rest of our discussion. Ready for you, Jeff.
Thank you. So we're running out of time, so I'm just going to keep it really short, okay? So just bear with me for just 1 second. Because my section's not that exciting. It's not as fun as what you just heard from Hillary and Janelle. So, okay, so we're going to talk about bias, but we just want to launch a quick poll. Won't take very long. I love doing polls, so let's do this. And here it is. Okay. So the question is, do you think we can still be personal while using AI? So so I added to these answers: yes, no problem; no, the robots are taking over; and the third one is, I'm not sure, because I think a lot of people have questions with this. So just give it open for a couple minutes. So I should have switched my slide. Sorry, that was for Janelle. So just vote quickly. Yes, no problem. Seems to be the lion's share. Excuse me, pardon my cough. All right. So as that's going, Janelle, did you want to maybe just talk about this slide quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I thought we would find it really interesting to see like what we pull today based on our conversation. And then also looking at results that Team Taylor has from our recruitment metrics guide. So we launched that at the end of last year, and it was just gauging like teams that are using AI or using an ATS, like if they think that we can still be personal while using AI. And a whopping 70% were like, yes. And then a few were still concerned, which I think it's always best to play on the safe side. So I completely respect those that are still uncertain, still need to fill out the industry a little bit more. But looking at the poll that we had, looks like 12 votes for yes, no problem. 1, no, the robots are taking over. It's understandable. And then 1 for not sure. So I think very much similar to what we see in our metrics guide. If you want to see a full view of our metrics guide, I popped the link in there. Feel free to download if you'd like. It goes into a whole bunch of other avenues. But yeah, I'll let you get back to the serious and not boring stuff, just serious stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to skim over some of the stuff. So as I said earlier, that we are going to create a piece of content, and we will sort of beef it out a little bit more with this section of bias and so forth. And because as I mentioned, it's very, very important. So so one of the biggest questions is around bias, and so some of you may have recalled the incident from I think it was around 2018, 2019, with Amazon collecting about 10 years worth of data and then trying to build like an AI model to help hiring. And so what ended up happening was the actual tool itself was very favorable toward male candidates, and they tried fixing it, but they couldn't, so they ended up scrapping it. So this is just one example of a really extreme case of a tool that has bias that's built into it. So it's not user generated; it's based on the tool. So I think that was the most popular one, but it just goes to show that this needs to be thought of. So and so the only thing that I want to mention here is what's called the black box. So so what that means is, so obviously, as we've seen today, there's the input. So whether it be Janelle, Hillary actually inputting something into Gemini, for example, and then there was some outcome, right? And so what happens from the input to the output, that's the black box. And so we're not like AI experts, data science, developers and so on. So we're not going to know, but I think it's really important to have, or try to come to some understanding of what actually happened. So how does the tool actually work? And I think that's actually really important. Because then if people actually ask you questions about it, then you can actually explain it in some logical fashion. And I think that's really important. So I don't want to get into a lot of this here, but you really have to start looking at some of the regulations that are out there in California, the UK, and so on. And so that's it, something for you to really think about. But it's really about making sure that you understand sort of what the AI tool is doing, basically. And we'll provide more details about that in our post content. This is just about access control. Really, the bare minimum here is make sure that what you ask people for in terms of applications, and instead of using AI tools, do you really need to collect it, right? So I mean, if you're asking people for their social insurance number, or in Canada, or you're asking for the marital status, I mean, that has nothing to do with the actual hiring process at all. So the encryption, this is just a very technical term, just making sure that all of your tools are actually using that. And so this is something that I believe in, is to really lean on the vendors. So if you're working with Team Taylor, for example, or others, you have to ask those questions. Just ask them to show you how things work. Are you keeping things safe, secure, encrypted? What's your roadmap like? All of those types of things. So really, really important. I'm not going to get into a lot of the details here, but this is really about trying to sort of unravel the black box, and you can do testing. And I'm not saying that you do it. I'm just saying that there are tools out there that if you do actually lean on teams, so whether it be your vendor, external vendor, or if you work, a company, to hire software people, experts, then you can ask them to help you with that as well. And so you should be able to do actual assessment, but every recruiting vendor should be doing their own, and they should be open to actually sharing that, sort of outcome with you. Human oversight, obviously, these are some things that are, pretty straightforward. I'm going to, talk about training. I think it's really important, once again, for you to actually lean on your vendors as well. And I keep saying that because they are the experts in their tools. They can help train you, or actually attending, workshops like this as well, and just others. And the other thing too is, don't be afraid to tell candidates, look, we are using AI to do A, B, and C. There's nothing wrong with that, and quite frankly, that's actually encouraged. So, so just in summary, we talked about a lot of different things, and so and I hope that you got some really good insights into how you can use chat, GPT, Gemini, and Team Taylor. Also, from an ethical standpoint, bias, really lean on your vendors and just ask them, for information and data and process. And I just want to thank obviously Team Taylor, and Tribe. Scale chose my company, so I don't have to sort of thank me. But this was a partnership effort. On that note, I just want to thank Hillary and Janelle for your help as well. All three of us are going to be in Austin, Texas on May 16th, by the way, running my first ever social HR camp in Austin. So if you're in the area, you want to come by, please register. The theme is, you guessed it, AI. So we're going to be doing focusing on how we can leverage AI in more of a broader sort of HR sense. And then I want to thank all of you. Now, we are going to stick around for another 5 minutes. So if you want to hang around and just ask this question, I can make you all a collaborator or whatever, so you can come on camera. And may the recruiting force be with you. Thank you all for being here, and I appreciate your time.